In last week's video, we explored the Valley of the Goblins, and in today's video, we will be heading just to the other side of the parking lot to hike the Goblin's Lair trail. One cool thing about this hike is that not only will it take you to the Goblin's Lair, but you can take it to the additional Goblette's Lair as well. If you go to both of the lairs, this hike will have an overall distance of 3.4 miles with an elevation gain of 180 feet. Please note that this hike is rated between moderate to strenuous, and you'll see why in just a little bit. For now, things will be starting off nice and easy as we make a slow and steady descent down into the valley. Around 0.2 of a mile into the hike, you're going to encounter your first stairs as you make your way towards a really cool formation that I'm surprised doesn't have a name. It sort of looks like another formation in the park that's known as the Three Sisters. Maybe this could be the Three Stepsisters. Please note that if you are visiting the park during the warmer months, there is little to no shade along this trail. In the summertime, it can be 90 to 100 degrees out here, so I wouldn't recommend hiking at all, but if you do, bring a ton of water. Something that we really appreciated about this hike was how well marked it was. While it is always a great idea to bring a tracker like the Garmin InReach or at the bare minimum your phone, it would be pretty difficult to get lost out here with all of the signs. After one more small switchback, we will be on the valley floor, and it's amazing how much different the scenery is here. There isn't a hoodoo in sight at this part of the park, but just on the other side of the hill, there are thousands of them. At right around 0.4 of a mile, you will find yourself at the first of 3 junctions that you will come across on this trail. Going left here will put you on the Carmel Canyon Loop and take you back to the car, but if you want to go to the Goblin's Lair, you need to go right. Here you will have beautiful views on the right side of the trail of a formation that is known as Molly's Castle. We are already at junction number 2, and this is an easy one. You just need to go straight because turning left here will put you on the Grand Circle Trail. After crossing the first bridge, you will be dropping a little bit deeper into the valley. While this isn't by any means the most slippery part of the hike, footwear choice is incredibly important here. If you are wondering what shoes or any other type of gear we use in our videos, you can find a link in the description to our recommended gear. After you cross the second bridge, the trail will be curving off to the right and making its way around the backside of Molly's Castle. Things are going to be nice and flat for a minute, but enjoy this break because if you want to go to either of the layers, you're going to have to climb. This trail seems like it likes to keep you guessing, and soon we were at the base of a large sand dune. Thankfully, we did not have to climb that dune, but the trail was going to be getting pretty sandy in certain sections. This part of the trail is super easy. All you have to do is follow the trail markers, which are plentiful, and keep your eyes on the right side of the trail for things like this cute little sand dune. Eventually, you will come to another large sand dune, and unfortunately, unlike the first one, you do have to climb this one. I'm not even going to lie, this is a decent cardio workout. But it doesn't seem like we were the only ones to climb this dune because we saw these tiny little animal tracks up here as well. At the top of the dune, you will come to the third and final junction, and you do have a bit of a decision to make here. Going straight here will take you to the Goblin's Lair, and going left will take you to the Goblette's Lair. This is pretty much completely up to you, and for no reason at all, we decided to do the Goblette's Lair first. Going to the Goblette's Lair will add about half a mile to the overall distance of the hike, but in our opinion, it is well worth it, and I mean, you hiked all the way out here, you might as well see everything. The trail does get fairly narrow and a little bit washed out on the way over to Goblette's Lair, but eventually it does widen back up. I would say that I am worried about the trail getting even more washed out, but this park only gets on average about 8 inches of rain per year. After passing one more trail marker, it's time to turn right into the canyon and begin our climb up to the Goblette's Lair. These are the climbs that give the trail its strenuous rating. You should be able to see the opening for Goblette's Lair from the bottom, so that's a good little way to have some motivation to keep on climbing. Even though it may seem like one, Goblette's Lair and Goblin's Lair are not technically caves. A true cave typically forms underground, is large enough to enter, and forms through chemical dissolution. This is what you will find with massive caves like Carlsbad Caverns. What you have with Goblin and Goblette's Lair is more of a chamber or an alcove. This is primarily due to the fact that the Goblin and Goblette's Lairs were caused by erosion due to wind and water. We are quickly approaching the opening to the Goblette's Lair, but you do need to be careful for sneaky adventurers out there. The Goblette's Lair is quite a bit smaller than the Goblin's Lair, so if you only have time to visit one, I would definitely visit the Goblin's Lair instead. However, if you have time to do both, I think that it is definitely worth the extra mileage and climbing. Inside the Goblette's Lair, you will find really dramatic lighting that can make for some pretty epic trip photos. The ceilings in here are between 15 and 20 feet tall, and the cave doesn't go in all that far. However, if you are looking for shade, this will definitely do the trick. You probably aren't going to spend a ton of time in either of the two caves because they are a single chamber. If you're looking for more of an all-day experience, you should definitely check out our video about the Go Shoot Cave. Soon it was time to leave the Goblette's Lair behind and make our way over to the Goblin's Lair. You really need to watch your step as you make your way down both of the climbs. They both had a hard-packed layer covered with just a small dusting of sand, and that made things very slippery. The good thing is that we are now warmed up and ready to climb up to Goblin's Lair. The climb up is a little bit trickier in our opinion. If you like desert hikes like this, you should also check out our video about hiking Death Valley's Golden Canyon. That hike is absolutely incredible and also has some pretty surreal views. Here we are at the beginning of the climb. Things are about to get steep and prepare to be breathing heavily. This section is probably one of the trickiest spots, and while it may not be dangerous like Moapa Peak, there is a chance that if you slip, you will be taking the express route back down to the bottom. We ended up finding a shortcut that had her climbing up and over some boulders rather than climbing up the steepest parts, and that was pretty genius. Once you get past the slipperiest part, things will ease up a little bit. You'll at least have a bunch of giant boulders to grab onto as you climb, and before you know it, you should be at the opening for the Goblin's Lair. Just before you get to the main entrance of the Goblin's Lair, there is this smaller opening. We didn't have time to get in there and check it out, but if you have been in here, let us know in the comments because we're curious as to where this tunnel leads. There's also one other really cool thing about the Goblin's Lair that we didn't get to do on this trip, and it is canyoneering. It turns out that if you buy the permit and you have the gear and knowledge needed, you can drop in through the skylights and rappel into the Goblin's Lair. That sounds pretty epic, and we may have to come back out here with our adventure crew. As for this visit, we were going to have to take the more standard way in and do some down climbing. The Goblin's Lair, or as it's otherwise known, the Chamber of Basilisk, can be a little bit challenging to get into, so you may want to send your more experienced climbers down first. These down climbs can be especially tricky if you have shorter legs because some of the drop-offs are pretty big. One pro tip that we have is that if you are looking into the cave, stick to the far right wall. I'm not sure if this is the official route or not, but it seemed like the down climbs were much easier on this side. It's too bad that we were visiting in the late afternoon, because from our research, it sounds like if you're visiting during the morning hours, you can get these columns of light coming in through the skylights. Even without these lights though, the Goblin's Lair is really impressive. The ceilings here are about 100 feet tall. I can only imagine how cool it would look if you were rappelling in from the top. If you enjoy snacking on the trail, Goblin's Lair is perfect for that. There are a couple of boulders on the ground that make perfect chairs and tables. After a nice snack and a break, it was time for us to head out. Sunset was quickly approaching, and even though this is a very easy to follow trail, we wanted to get back to the car before it got dark. The good thing is that the climb up out of the cave seems a little bit easier than the climb down into it. At this point, you may expect all of the challenging parts to be behind you, but you might be mistaken. This next section is without a doubt the most slippery part of this hike. Our La Sportiva shoes always give us a ton of grip, but even we were sliding our way back down the hill. The good thing is that after one more slightly sketchy section, you should be in the clear. The rest of the way back to the car is fairly simple. There are a couple of hills to climb, but nothing tricky at all. I think that the main thing that you need to pay attention to is the junction that will take you back to the car. If you miss that turn, you will still end up getting back to the car, but you'll be doing the backside of the Carmel Canyon Loop Trail, which will extend your hike a little bit. If we had enough daylight left, we totally would have taken that option, but we may have to save that one till next time. Overall, I must say that Goblin Valley State Park is an amazing place, and we enjoyed it way more than we even expected to. We want to hear from you. What is your favorite state park? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. If you have ideas for future videos, let us know. And for all the information about Goblin's Lair as well as other awesome adventures, head on over to 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐎.com.